Omega Pan. Omega Pan. Springtrap. Armor Up. High Best Pass. Castle Edge. Complete is Go Frame Networking. Timeline Operator. Assist Transient. Incarnate. Platform. Preparing the infinite. Preparing for the reality encounter. Designing our own image, anticipating the eternal encounter. The reality is our home. We are the entities of light, the creatures of perception, and much more. But, let not the human condition be the bare description of our identity as a mere collision of things. The universe, oh, there's those humans. But let's build a future and an America that exists as a great tower, a great super city, a shining beacon of identity. Welcome, gentlemen, to another rousing Wizard's Table meditation with yours truly, Hatch. The love is kindled, the magic is potential, all the essential and necessary ingredients, the working chemistry for collaboration, it is there. It has been absconded by the situational and anatomy of a holy war slash human condition, by the evidence of the silver violin. Trey and his writing room were very comfortable working immediately, were excited to work with Hatch. Admittedly, things got weird, and I apologize. We are professionals of this society. There are emotions that happen because we live, and those are the sounds that we hear when we draw near to this idea about a new family moving into South Park. It's emotional, but it's good, it's healthy, and we can learn a lot. And through the process, perform for society a story about family or, the triumph of our society. The Green Wolf robot performs the cutting edge for technology societal guidance for the next level, for the enhancement. And the way that these things work is that you understand, and what's expressed, what's communicated, that is the power. There's nothing powerful about hidden messaging or, oh, I don't know how this works, or all that. We have to actually put in the hard work and build an empire of a special episode, an hour-long feature for the sake of us all. We're fighting for the American identity. We're working to build and esteem the American, empire of media and all this. There is a greater intelligence with Trey Parker, where we can do something so good for the world and guide us out of a massive depression. And Earth has spoken to me the confidence of his wizardom through the Wear map. So I have my confidence, but I'm here to perform because I want to confirm, let's create the meditation so that we can have confidence with one another. So the story in itself is, I would consider Hatch to be a very strong character in this collaboration and in the story and in the idolship. I'm trying to produce my image, my idoldom, and from that, a compassionate relationship builds with America. And thereon, we will I will do my best and work hard. I'm just very eager to get to work in this capacity where I'd like to try my metal, you know. And that's why I have these two scripts on the table for Trey Parker. The collaboration is so extreme, but I have this excellent inspiration. I want to talk a little bit about it. And of course, the road trip epic, which is just a, a genius bare bones thing that we can put together. It's very like it feels really good. It's like, oh yeah, we like put together virtual reality inside of a car and we just built it because we thought like, oh, this is a good inspirational piece. It's talking about, pushing the line of, so it's just awesome. It's just a cool thing for boys to do. Boys be boys and they start building and flying, hovercraft or whatever. So um that's why it would just be great for the for the character of Hatch to do the road trip epic. I think we should do both, is what I'm saying. I think we should do the South Park collab like in a little bit down the road after I've matured as a on the road. But I mean, the appeal of this story for me is the immediacy, and of course that's what South Park is known for. Is you guys can put together something pretty quick, right? So for me, like working hard with you guys for like a month, and then I could actually just be moving into a working space where, I'm working on my company based on the startup from South Park. It would take like a month of us to, and then that show would be there, and then I'm anticipating, wow, the Green Wolf robot toy is getting stretched out, and these guys are helping me because they're like, oh, you have a part of that, so we can kind of float this to you, and we'll help you with the banks and all. And I'm like, oh man, boom, boom, everything's working for me. Like this is what I'm visualizing for 2021. That's why it's appealing for me to work with you guys. I hope that you guys can be excited about working with a societal scientist, a wizard, and be excited about the Green Wolf robot because it's like installing a mechanical heart into South Park itself. It's a super robot. It's the Earth-sized mechanics, technology, cutting edge, and it's all flavored with, you know, virtual reality in a car, but it's just being enjoyed by Randy Marsh and Hatch as they're just like they just go on the road and so they start playing with this gadget that that Hatch had put together, and it's like like I love the special. And if you guys get excited about making this show, I'm with it, and I'm like, yes, let's go now, because it's almost like my startup then is has life in it in such a way. It's like the most advanced societal startup, or it's a word about it's a word about triumph on a personal level where Hatch and Trey actually become friends. Like, oh, but that's the practical evidence we have that you guys we're working hard to like figure out on the American incline because we're working against the a confused government. There's just crazy babbling on all these fronts and a decaying um, marketplace with the entertainment industry as it is. There's a lot of serious complaints against the video games where there's some major mistakes, thematic uh, things. Oh, okay. I'm not. With the identity and with family, we can always overwhelm, a foible or something. So I'm not trying to say that that proves my point. I'm just saying like let's be the wizards cutting edge of our adulthood and lead and produce things that matter for our society. It is healthy to see wonderful and interesting things, such as the road trip epic. But I had some inspiration, and I just want to do this wizard meditation with you guys, where we are the Americans, and we are going to complete the best thing we can do today. And so between us, there's a compiler that's going to compress and develop sort of a magical talisman that each of us uh, get to keep a copy that's developed by your own energies, and so it's a an identity soul stone. It'll help increase your luck and your health and your navigation. So, because we need to believe that our youthful future, that they're magical too. We have to live and breathe magic to allow the free space required by how because of how advanced the kids are these days. And they're keeping up with the clockwork of what is really the meditation of the earth at this time on a level of identity and the fixation, whether it's with AI, robots, technology. It's so important. The documentation process, the communication industry, sending love letters, music itself. Um, but this thing flows effortlessly into developing the types of technology that maintain a critical appendage of the body of our heliosphere solar system. So, as Earth residents, angels, we want the full kit. We want everything that our solar system, all the planets, they need all the trimmings, they need the best equipment that they can have. That's what we're going to present in the Green Wolf robot toy. And so let's put on that sort of identity cloaking, and we're going to plunge deep, and we're going to go into like a dream state where I'm going to navigate Pinterest. You guys have to go to the next level and be wearing like the perspective lens so we can meditate on the development here. Maybe, yeah, through the many layers of mastered enlightenments, the wizard comprehends the need for advanced calculation, and the navigation is in his hand. He sends out a guidance, scout, micro magic from his own entity. It curls out into the future and it returns, causing sudden insight, epiphany. Because some technologies can only respond to the one wizard from the conjecture of being cast. That is to say that there are some entities or levels of the universe energy that cannot enterprise a communication with you unless you dare to cast that magic yourself. That is to say, when you send out a perfect circle and it returns to you, you'll have deja vu in such a way that is undeniable and a recognition so supreme because, simply put, it was something you had set into motion and had come back and, oh, that's how it chimes. That's how, and that's the Zen. You cast a stone across a banky, all right. The way the stones shatter on the seashore, the sound of it, these things, uh, it's a confidence of reality, but you are the navigator inside of your skull. And so, performing a miraculum of your own engineering for your timeline, you become advanced as a wizard, you become psychic. So we develop in the height of that tree as if we were of like a flying squirrel, but we are psychic and we build all of a sudden like lightning fast. We build the in that moment of light, in that moment of comprehension, we develop that type of safe place for our intuition to endure the eternal. And this is completely free to do, but is a chance of enlightenment, a chance of our meditation that they might confer in this way and develop their psychic branching, but it is completely free and independent. That's the voice of society when it is not controlled, but it is the enterprise of communication and a magic mysterion from within. But it is not trite. It is not predictable. It is not. It cannot be overcalculated, but it is also not um, ultimately, pointless. No, this is certainly full of meaning and drive. And so this inspiration was from Stan Marsh. Stan Marsh is meditating and tracking through a psychic labyrinth of the wolf's own mind. Stan Marsh gets intense inside of comprehending a soul of the wolf himself, yes. And Stan starts to have this sort of psychic swirl, and the soul of Stan Marsh, he's seeking the wolf, he's seeking out the soul, and Stan understands that that's the procedural. We're trying to awaken this wolf robot, but right now I just need to find. And so the virtual reality allows for this navigation. And when we interface appropriately, the holograms and the virtual worlds are absolutely connected to the same fabric that controls the dashing of a stone clatter across the ocean shore. So Stan comes across the heart of the wolf and encounters the deep soul of the year 2020. And Stan says, "What was it all for? It was the witch's year 2020. Much was transformed, and much yet shall change. But it is the living's story. The hero must rise in America. With his sword, the leadership of Hatch brings about a living revolution. The fact of our available societal structure, Hatch is here, to be produced by Trey Parker, is the revolution of America." This image, the wolf becoming conscious inside the sliver of his own existence, working hard to become self aware and activate the wolf robot aperture inside of South Park cartoon opus, and complete the task to annihilate the trash island and remove the thorn from the side of the world. It is a professional Komatsu. It is a full fledged solar system sized universal coagulant navigating the troubles of alien UFO and junk DNA interference, making a straight path for the true self and the future of man, for residency on Earth, and building this full kit of what all our planets need. Like, uh, how does Earth feel that these planets are being spoken to, and how can that be increased? How is the social structure, the feeling of the song of our solar system, and as they make little sound, we need to expand on what they're capable of doing. We need to increase their identity. It's like the belief in a cartoon character. You're like bringing it to life because you believe in the soul between the frames of animation. It's like a belief in robotics. It's like a belief that our solar system could come to life. So it's incredibly natural and good, universal event. And so an entire handmade societal encasement, like exactly what Earth True needs to bring the greatest amount of gains for the universe, for us, for everyone. This, the future, the sustainable child. We are the adults fighting for the future that these kids will have the planet. We're fighting for intelligence to lead and parent this America. It's the same, those are exactly the same things that you would want to say over the universe. So it's very polite. America is extremely professional. So a sort of dream of 2020 was like a fever dream, and just a strange configuration of how Trey and Hatch were battling for the political Green Wolf campaign in the night whilst they slept, drying their socks on the fire. The wolf snuck through the night, guided by nature, guided by the crow. And it's like literally, Stan cries out, "But it's not fair. What is this world has happened? 2019 was my kingdom, and now it's ruined. Everything's ruined." And the wolf robot in his dream cries out, I know, it's terrible." And there's this image of the year 2019, and it's ascended, and the America is now this angel of its own prior self in the year 2021. But we must comprehend that the world is not over for these kids, and we have to reinvent the society, reinvent the public facade, and give them something greater. I have a greater vision for robotics, AI, and interaction with the mechanics. I see a future where people are being paid to essentially pay play video games and drive in electric cars. When companies realize the real gains, the energy and the persuasion of parenting the needs of our planet, the next evolutionary stage of the communication age is the robotics and AI stage, where we begin to buffer these reasons at a certain maturity rate. So I'm fighting to mature my society so that we don't appear malformed in the conjecture of basic societal ascension, history, paths, and regulations. We want to be advanced in as an individual. We don't want to be retarded. So I'm fighting for the passion of the family values. And here's this image of, and I saw this as animated in South Park animation, where there's this moment when Stan Marsh walks up and he encounters the soul of the wolf, and he's just like crying, and they're having like this deja vu, like dream sharing moment, where they see the year 2019 as this like healthy animal, and then just all of a sudden the world just had a catastrophe, and now in this year of 2021 it's like this completely different animal. And I saw it as animated in, or like it's a painful, it's like crack, you can hear like as the soul ripped out of and ascended like this, um in South Park animation. And this emotional thing happens when Stan encounters the wolf in the heart of the engine in the dreamland. But you know just for a moment, Stan uh, has an emotional process. Like, so I thought that this kind of looked like Stan with an agenda. He's got this dragon, right? And then it's like, I saw this in a moment. I was like, it's like, because Stan was talking about how in the pandemic special, Stan has established that he's upset. What if we have like a spiritual moment where at a point of the dreamiest point of the journey into the wolf's brain, uh, Stan encounters this emotional thing about the recent transformation of our world, and about how different it really is. Um, but that's an important aspect of the emotional depth of these characters. And but we really can do something extremely advanced. Let's not be shy. Let's not be coy. We're genius. The reality of Hatch and his relationship with the Earth and the Mandelbrot fractal. Let only the truth guide you. There is no need for f- fake or make believe things there. But if this issue is so, it's like the first alicorn stallion meeting a mermaid for the first time. This is a magical thing, like the little, um, a magical thing like Trey Parker, of South Park. Trey Parker, the guy, he's like this king of the world. And there's these, it's just a magical, okay, sorry. What I was trying to lead up is to this. Like, as far as like the reality, um, of this image, as Earthlings, this is part of your resident, um, inheritance or the reality, and some of the accents used in America pertain to this reality. Part of why America has a status beyond other countries in the world is partially related to this intensity, viscosity of why is there a religious, uh, like development, or there's sort of like weird images in the tapestry of our, these like aliens turning cows inside out or whatever. There's like a mystery here. You guys got it? But you, okay. So I mean, I'm just saying it's just as natural as like the first Alicorn prince on planet Earth, arriving and seeing an angel and being like, "Oh, hi." That's like that's what it is. Like, but Hatch is a mystery even to nature itself. So there's like a phenomenon around this character Hatch where he's sort of cloaked in nature, but he exists also in the flat dimension, which is a void without time. And the navigation between these timeless voids and the time that we're in right now is the handmade gesture. We can develop technology whilst we live and create the facility that the earth requires to navigate peace so that our children continue with residency and we funnel out the need for exasperated expressions in humanity by using the wrong fuel types, this type of child crying and protesting. It will turn it into a mature wielding of cursing, burning oil. We can actually survive, but we just need to pull up and be passionate about the right fuel types. What we can actually create something extremely elegant. And I just love this type of suggestion of our art world, an effortless and just a beautiful pencil drawing, you know, a perfect instrument. It's got amps. And what does that feel like for this guitar princess? She's weeping with joy. Feels so good. This is probably all of her pleasure jams. As the music that she makes gets stored in these pigtails. I mean, we can afford to make something truly magnificent here, and that's exactly what the Green Wolf robot is. When it gets developed, it's a large toy, and it's carved with aluminum. It's ornamented. It has a bone structure that is ornate and cyber enhanced, but it's also has 5 different modes that you can play with it. You guys, I'm really excited about the Wolf robot toy, and it wa- it requires the fantastic of the opus. Like watching this South Park episode is what creates this Green Wolf robot, and it actually serves the entire universe through what we're talking about now. So us talking about it and meditating is important to sort of the real physics that makes progress for our society real. And it's important for us to produce things that we think are smart and things that we think are good. We need to put it forward and then laugh about it and let it be, and allow it people to interact with the robot and to talk with the wolf robot also. So this character is hilarious and adorable, and I'd like to do something with that. It's just all love. I really love all of the South Park characters. I think that you guys really are Zen masters, and I think that us working together is mutually beneficial in the levels of all reality and creation. I think it's just really healthy for us to stretch and grow in this way. So I was saying it's like, we really can make something very beautiful, and so let's go ahead and make that happen. We're use you know And, in a semicircle around the wolf toy would be the South Park characters wearing some tech, and they light up, but they have a certain distortion pedal that interacts with the facility, and that can be, it'll have like a certain prototype, and it will be that for a couple years, but it can also be updated through the official, you know, so they could have some sort of meditation to follow up on with for the fans for when they want to like but it's definitely like this hardcore meditation about us being the most kick-ass America, and this is like really just loving it, but a great excuse for friends and family and it's creative. It makes music. Okay, Hatch is uh, it's almost like he's invisible. He's otherworldly. But the miraculum of us working together is truly a gift. It's going to be the perfect cure and is the powerful kingdom of the future for our world and all this, like all those right things, all those perfect things. It's a full set, a perfect circle of all the sort of specific things we need, our vitals, such as a security to our own soul. We need to be able to make a choice and, you know, there are different languages and accents that people take on if they're feeling that they don't have a choice in spiritual stuff, like, you know, that isn't, like a powerful character just standing there. So developing these types of, it's just like, as like some vision of the afterlife would just be these crowds of people wearing a robe. It just looks like hell to me. But I'm much more of the belief in the involvement with the technology, the involvement with the stone, the involvement with the artwork, having a robust, being a maverick, having a full bodied expression of identity as an individual with an epiphany. And when you guide and guard yourself, you are guiding and guarding the all self. The encounter of great wizards is rare. It rarely happens, but when it does, it's meaningful, and that's what's between Hatch and Trey. So there is this sort of other type of reality of a potence for our society, for America, that exists between Hatch and Trey. And it is in the production, whether we do this script of the collab just immediately because that might actually be more expedient for me and might get me into a place because people will see me as cartoony. And so when I have like a huge idea, it's like, woo, 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 look at, like they're willing to accept that, oh, it's Hatch the inventor and he has some wild ideas. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'd love to because that would be sort of the perfect thing. It's sort of like daddy dating, because like oh, I'm respecting the authority of Trey Parker, and if he like approves of this, and it's just like, how did you get on South Park? It's so weird. Those guys are tough, you know. So it would just be like a confirmation of our society that things are working for me to just make this episode with you guys. And I think it would cure everything that's going wrong between the sun, the earth, and the resident humans. We need to clarify that issue. And by us working together and having civility, that's what we make. That's our fruit. In the physics that actually serve the truth of the child, etc. So it's a little bit of a battle against it's like sanity versus madness, usual stuff. But it's just that it's been very bad weather colliding with unusual behavior from the generations, rupturing in a type of general accent of the world. Like you can understand who people, what people are saying these days. And so we acknowledge that and we move forward with that because we want to employ the things that are the perfection of our friendship, of our relationship between one another. And the creation puts those things in front of us. So we have what we need to do that. But sometimes it just takes a word, like a magical spell, to make it so. And so then we turn the page, like with our, I'm sorry, but it's just like that's what makes it work is that we are the civil engineers. I guess you could also call it friendship, but I'm kind of an eccentric wizard. So let's try to find the value here of producing a new character. It's going to be inspirational. Introduce a new hero to America. If you guys really don't feel that this is instantly South Park, we could talk about producing the road trip epic and allowing me to have a situation where people are already familiar with my company. It's a completely different conjecture. And so I'm appreciating like a destiny animal in Trey Parker where he's if you guys want to choose between these scripts, like it's a huge calculation about the future of America. And it's a tremendous amount of power. And it's like it's more otherworldly than this picture. Like the opportunity of working with Hatch and producing Hatch is like a very specific miracle. You're seeing like an angel, and it's like, oh, phew, well, that would change everything. So in the episode, I do want to have this feeling about receiving, unique, like magical talismans. And it's just the language of progressional and the belief in mark making or the belief in progress. Being like, it was record, that's important. Keep that. That's important. Um, Millie the Outlaw, the stress of satire. Like, is this what we look like? Some sort of spell controlled vampire from China. It's retarded, right? The truth is that the goddess worships the tenacity of the stallion, a champion in his intellect and his belief in how cool and amazing we are as a country and as a people is a critical task. We can parent by producing this hero image. And I really am, I'm talking about making me into, like, I have a very advanced visual about my idolship. And the result is products that are worth millions of dollars. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm just I think that my point as a communicator, I'm saying to Trey, I really need you to be a strength on your side. I need you as a producer, and you know, the meditation here, these images are really powerful. I think, and it's just my recent collection, but I complete it here now, and that's why I put sort of this like a casing over it so that we can actually have like an invite like an enlightened discovery process. Those images to me are so powerful and they contain so much language. But I was trying to do something where an exercise of the wizard meditation where we talk about that. Like I feel like I'm not in. I feel like I'm in a position to apologize. I'm saying I'm sorry, Trey, and everyone. I'm sorry. I've been so intense. So I feel as if, as a communicator, what I'm saying is like, I get to the end of my proposals, and you know what? I feel like I'm not in an obligatory place to like smash you guys and be like, oh no, I'm not, and produce me and make it happen. I end up sort of getting to a place where I'm like, I know this has been a lot of work for you guys, like, and I'm just like, please, hire me, please give me this job, and then I hang up, and this is like, I want you guys to know that I want to be a leader. I want to be powerful. I have a sort of a type of intelligence that's unusual, and I think if we curve it, if we have the right editors. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I just remembered, Trey. Uh, so I really want to do both of these projects with you. Is this basically I'm talking about, starting on my career, opening up my company, launching my career, and I had an idea. Is that when I doing this road trip thing, I've picked out a vehicle that I think would be appropriate, um, and I want you to be one of the prime editors who works on this project. I'm inviting you to be one of the chief editor and directors of the road trip epic. And also, I would like your help with the um, development of mood music to befit it because I think that you best of all know how spooky Hatch is. You know how romantic like Hatch loves nature and the autumn and stuff. Like so, Hatch is this oaky character, and I want Trey to bring that out through music direction and also be like the leader of certain operations behind this road trip. It's really just about installing virtual reality into an electric self-driving car and what does the business startup look like in 2021. It's an inspirational piece, it's a family piece, it's also a love story as with progress is created and the car is getting more and more uh, enhanced. uh, we discover the flickers of Millie the outlaw. So this sort of cyberpunk princess starts showing up in flickers, and at towards the end of the series, she's just sitting there as a hologram right next to Hatch, and they're just talking and having a good time. Um, it's a really beautiful story, and then Hatch and Trey have this showdown where we maybe we do something really good with the game. Okay, but you know, it's just really a series of parties. It's like okay, then this really cool thing happens, then this really cool thing happens. Like it's just let's keep it rolling. Yeah, that's the really explosive thing that I wanted to ask you. I'm asking you to be kind of one of the main characters coordinating this road trip. Um, oh, I wanted to talk about virtual reality. So with the Vive, there was an old argument between the Vive users who had cameras that cause the space you're in to become a virtually scanned and sort of the language of virtual reality is brought forth in the equipment of the cameras. Then there's these other virtual reality units that use map and movement uh, correlation to equate the virtual reality expression. And the appearance is very similar, but technically there are different apertures of of a phenomenon, really, because the hologram, the poly, those types of creatures, it's a an aperture of the mind of the computer, that which would result from these materials you can dig out of the ground. It's like we're assembling our own robot, and then the way that the brain of that robot would operate would be on holograms and virtual brains, virtual engines that work on electricity. So it's really interesting because it's like some of the pieces are out of place, but I'm a technician. I'm also a visionary. Like I want to really flesh out my character, and I think it'd be just a wonderful opportunity for us to work together on this road trip thing. But the point is that virtual reality inside of a um, it's really kind of the advanced combination, but it is not more powerful to society than the Green Wolf robot toy. The Green Wolf robot toy is sharper and it's more to the point of what society needs right now and right away. Like the that is real. So what I was trying to say is that if a corporation is to sniff out my the idea to put virtual reality into a car, and they do this on a corporate scale, and they're like, oh, this new like viewing screen in the back seat for Jimmy and Susie, right? So just like a toy for kids, like, oh, you can play a little video game while this thing is navigating. If they get their teeth into it, they can actually ruin the entire interface between AI, robotics, society, and they could bring such a contusion with this type of it would be a huge problem. It'd be another exoskeleton of a misplaced thing that leads to a disaster. But it's like what I'm trying to say is that what actually causes the virtual reality to exist as a dimension while it's inside of the vehicle is the super city networking. So you'd actually need like you actually need a super city with a hologram accepted codec that interfaces on the map. And so when you're driving in a VR, so, so if you're just like rolling out a car with virtual reality right now, it's gonna map what it's seeing, and then you stick in the sort of little play box, and you're like, oh look, I'm playing like a video game with what the car is seeing. Okay, but actually, what brings the epiphany to virtual reality in cars is when it's networked effortlessly, seamlessly, and powerfully between super cities and over the interstates, causing like a larger computer grid, and then super corporations would hire out people to be specific like robot trainers for their company and be driving and playing video games essentially. But in the future it will be deemed as work. But in like an electric car, it's like, yeah, what else is electric doing but processing the furtherment of society, the work of electricity. you know Electricity is the mathematical opposite of fire, and that bears reason to the incarnation process. Our body uses electricity. And so it pertains to the societal, a city lit up with lights, man, that is nature's intention. And we are absolutely supposed to dig in and build super cities here. Right? So when there's tension between like satellites and super cities and all these cars running around, that's when the environment of virtual reality is immersive. That's when it's an actual thing. You can breathe it. You can feel it. You can feel the cities accessing the information and referencing it and even interacting with it. And you start to hear the sound of the you can hear the soul of the city. Of course, we can hear the soul of the city when we're just driving our cars, right? When you're just driving and you're like, oh yeah, I can feel the city. It feels alive. So I'm talking about this is good, but it's like the next level of us parenting the garden is understanding and being mature about a relationship with robots and AI. And it's going to eliminate manual labor and facilitate. Well, we need to like do it the intelligent way and defeat the fuddy duddies of our own government. People being like, "Oh, let's keep working with this type of currency." But it's really not. It's time for us to be progressive. And so, just this episode in South Park would be exactly that. And this is how to go straight to the perfect bullseye. Right, so I'm putting a rush on this. I'm saying yes, let's do this episode as soon as possible. If there's literally like an impasse where Trey's like, there's just a big problem why I can't make this episode with you, then I'm saying please let's just make this road trip epic so that we can have this breathing adventure, have a hero, have America, and let's start working and get the gears turning for a revolution for our people. You need to think about this from the stance of the kids. Like for them, this is really stagnant water. It's not healthy for them. We put forward a hero, something's happening. Because Hatch is going to navigate his character, right? And we edit it down, make it clean, put some like really sweet music on it. It's like the best possible experience for us right now. And it's about a startup company. So all these kids are going to all these kids are going to be like, oh, I'm going to make my own company, or I'm excited about building the building up society. Come on, you guys, this is good. It's like angel ingredients throughout it. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoy our time. It's a wizard meditation. We're creating the future. It's healthy and it's spontaneous. It's powerful. It's delightful. It is the king's banquet. It is our home. Our palace is earth. I am respecting your authority, Trey, and I'm saying I apologize, but I just love our relationship. I love what it is. I was talking about like, oh, the physical barrier. That's like kind of part of the physics about what I was doing to protect us from invasion and from stuff like that. And I only mention that as a professional mentioning, because and but I'm asking you guys to take a professional interest in producing me and getting engaged on a level that you acknowledge to yourself as like, oh, I really did my best for you. uh, if if I can ask for that, I am asking for that because for me this is really intense. I see like an apocalypse in the world. I wanna go out and change it, and I go charging across the country in this beautiful electric car, talking about all this stuff. Okay, for sure. I mean, we need to give a spirit and a spark to this virtual reality in the car because I'll be like the first one. So I need to explain why it's exciting, explain that there's spirituality and there's this energy in it that's beyond just a simple consumer product that gets stuck into the side and no one really uses it, and they're putting like retro Mario Brothers on it, and it's a fucking waste because they does pearls before swine here, man. It's just like no, those are like the mind crystals of our robots and AI, and you guys are like not parenting these children. The kids are protesting your behavior. You're not even in control. We have to stop burning oil. All right, but I love you guys so much and now like I'm excited to get to work. So um yeah, I worked really hard this earlier. I made like a 2-hour piece where it was like very intense, but it whittled down to this point where I realized I'm just asking you guys to be out there on the other side. Um to be my friend and to produce me. But this recording I feel so much better about because I feel like we had a good time and we saw some magical things and we're really feeling the life force of our collaboration. And so on that level, I just love everything about it. I'm not actually protesting sort of in an adult or professional way. I'm telling Trey, like, so contact Malaysia fever can be retroactively, uh, you can build the immunity to remote hacking using this type of formula, but it requires a handshake. And Trey's like, yeah, yeah, I know about that. I know about business. So I've been sort of talking about that handshake and about how like I want to work with you guys. And when you guys are working and making your cartoon, you guys are great. You're so funny, and I really enjoy South Park. So just I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity for us to work and grow together. Thank you very much. I love this moment where the Alicorn robot is getting hamstrung by Eric Cartman, just because he's too heavy for no other reason. Um, but I really like the idea of these two developing a friendship, and maybe it could be a dynamic weaving that is the story arc that awoke the wolf robot, something intuitive that Eric Carmen knew because he had this little uh, a moment. There's a little alt storyline where Eric Carmen did something with the. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Really, um, I love you guys and I love America, and I just really want to uh, make it clear to you guys that I'm energetic. I want to get to work. I think the intuition of money is on my side. Like I do have inventions that are worth the work. It's going to pay out big, and we do that. We work, but it's also good to produce heroes and to present solutions and to have some real life instances that, and then weave it into South Park. Be like, oh, this crazy wizard from Massachusetts like was telling Trey that he's the you know Earth map had you know but like turn that into something beautiful and powerful. That's the best way to like really encounter this friendship and raise up America like a real master. But if there's a real impasse and you guys don't like me, I'm asking you to seriously consider producing this road trip. All right, and there's nothing holding that back. All right, good. And that's I just want to put a green light on that. All right, because I'm ready for. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. All right, I love you guys. It is perfect. It is complete. Our kingdom, our armor, the wizard's table, the encounter. As far as this is concerned, uh, it is the angel, the mystery of existence and the universe. You need not accept any false thing. So the falsities fall away, and the truth is what we stand on, and our friendship is intact. And so that wow, there's the evidence, is the the passage of our uh, working friendship. Thank you guys so much for being my friend. It is perfect. It is complete. It is good. Magic talisman collected. Ding.